So today we're talking about something that determines whether you'll be an average sales agent in 2026. I'm going to take two perspectives here. I'm going to take the perspective of a sales manager and a sales agent all at the same time. Sales isn't about hype or personality anymore. It's about discipline, clarity, purpose, and your ability to lead people confidently as a manager. Most agents plateau because they chase tactics, right? They chase scripts, they chase gurus on Insta University, and they chase a whole bunch of noise. They never build the fundamentals that create consistent performance. So today I'm going to break down 8 traits that will turn you into a top performing sales agent. Plus there's lessons in here if you're a manager as well. So number 1, understand the why, which is the higher purpose really. So top performing sales agents start with a deeper purpose. It's not motivation, it's not hype, it's not I want to earn more money. That's not what they operate against. Purpose is the anchor that keeps you consistent, especially on the days that you don't feel like showing up. Like we all know it, sales is super hard, right? So a real why may sound like this. I want financial stability for my family. That's great. I'm building a career, not just a job. Amazing. I want control over my life financially. Or I'm proving something to myself. So purpose becomes your internal engine, and you need that on the hard days. So when you truly understand your why, you stop negotiating with yourself. You stop relying on feeling good, and you start showing up with intention every day. For example, the average agent wakes up tired and thinks, oh, I'll start later. Top performer wakes up tired and says, my why doesn't care how the I feel. An average agent scrolls their phone before starting the day. A top performer reviews their goals and looks at their pipeline because their purpose drives their behavior. A struggling agent thinks, this is hard. A top performer thinks, this is worth it. See the difference? So the key takeaway should be purpose creates consistency. Consistency creates performance. Performance creates results. All right, number 2, be open to criticism, right? So being coachable wins all the time. Coachability is one of the strongest predictors of sales success. Not talent, it's not experience, and it's not charisma. It's coachability. Most people crumble when they hear feedback. Like top performers seek it out, right? They want to be corrected, they want to be sharpened, and they want to be challenged. So when you're coachable, you adapt super fast. You improve your technique, you eliminate blind spots, you raise through the ranks faster because you're focused. You become more valuable. Your ego either becomes your biggest barrier as a top performer or your biggest opportunity. Another example, so your close rate drops off, right? The average agents blame bad leads all the time, like all the time. Top performers ask for a breakdown of their conversions. See the difference? Maybe a colleague outperforms you. The average agent feels threatened. Top performers ask, what are they doing differently to me? You see the difference? So if you can't take feedback, you'll never outperform those who can. All right, number 3. So limit your learning. Stop chasing gurus. People are doing it all the time and it drives me mad. This is where people get stuck. Sales agents overwhelm themselves with 20 different scripts, 15 different sales books, 9 different tactics that they deploy all at once they got from social media. 3 different frameworks, 1 new influencer every week. Information overload kills your performance. It always has and it always will. More so now than it ever has before. People don't want performers and actors. People want clarity. They want leadership and they want confidence. Consultancy wins, simplicity wins, and mastery wins. For example, say an average agent changes approach every 2 days. A top performer uses one process and then sharpens it week after week after week. Another example could be a new guru posts a viral video and the average agent copies it and pastes it and watches it every second day. A top performer asks, does this align with my process? See the difference? Another example could be an average agent chases inspiration. Top performers chase execution. That's the difference. So the key takeaway is learn less, master more, and noise always kills performance. Number 4. Serve. Simple, right? One word. Serve. Your job is not to sell. Your job is to serve deeply, genuinely, and professionally. So serving means listening with intent, asking great questions, understanding your client's real situation, providing clarity, super important, reducing confusion, and guiding your client confidently. Follow through at a high standard. People don't buy because you're persuasive. People will buy because you're trusted and you're an expert. Serving is leadership. Selling is simply transactional. For example, so a customer hesitates. An average agent says, do you want to go ahead? Top performers say this. Let's walk through the concerns so I can guide you to a decision. See the difference? Another example could be a customer is totally overwhelmed. An average agent will say, would you like me to send you some more information? Like, it just happens all the time. A top performer will simplify. Here's the path that solves your problem. Let's go through that. You see the difference? Another example could be a customer asks for help. Average agents give multiple options. Multiple. Top performers, they just give one answer. I advise that we do this. So service is the new sales. Serve well and customers choose you naturally. Why? Because they trust you. Why? Because they have confidence in you. Why? Because they resonate with you. And why? Because you sound believable. You sound like an expert. Don't forget that. Number 5, be in control. So top performers lead the conversion. They lead the conversation. They lead the process. And they lead the decision-making, believe it or not. Average agents are reactive. Top performers are directive. Let me say that again. Average agents are reactive. Top performers are directive. Understand that deeply. So stop asking, what do you want to do with your customers? Stop asking them, what do you think? And definitely stop asking them, what would you do next? Like, you should go and work at McDonald's. You shouldn't be in sales. And there's nothing wrong with McDonald's. I don't know why I said McDonald's. But McDonald's is a great organization, by the way. The training's fantastic. So if your client doesn't know, why would you ask them what they want? Isn't that why they came to you in the first place? You're the expert. Are you not? Because if you're not, what are you even doing in a sales role? And definitely, what are you doing in a sales leadership role, more importantly? So you need to lead, right? That's what you were there for. Is that confidence? Yeah, certainly. You need to be confident. Where does confidence come from? If I was to ask you that question, what was the first thing that popped into your head, right? Confidence comes from knowledge, knowing your product better than anybody else. People think confidence is a personality trait, a psychological trait. It's something that you learn. It is something that you learn, but you don't learn how to be confident. You learn the product knowledge that makes you confident. That's the difference. So an example could be, instead of what qualification are you interested in? We have an education business, so we sell qualifications. You could say, based on what you've told me, this is the exact qualification you need to hit that result. See the difference? It's leading. It's advising your client what to do. They don't want to make any decisions. That's why they're speaking to you. You're the expert. Advise. Instead of saying, hey, Mr. Customer, what's your budget? You should say, here's the most efficient pathway based on your goals. Now, my thing is, why would budget even be part of it? If the result is big enough for them, if the goal is big enough for them, this is not about how much it costs. This is about what are they prepared to invest. It's an investment. It's not a cost. Average performers will say, these are the cost and payment options. Top performers will say, let me walk you through the investment. Like, how powerful is that? It's so powerful. All right, another example could be, instead of saying, would you like to go ahead? Like, is that really a close strategy? Would you like to go ahead? It's quite soft, right? Or a top performer, you could say, here are the next steps. Let's get this started. See the difference? It's essentially saying the same thing, but one is leading and one is passive. If you want to be a top performer, you want to get really technical. Technical about phraseology, technical about the words that you use, technical about the tone in which you deliver it, and technical about the speed. All right? When you speak about money to a client, especially if it's a high ticket item, you need to speak slowly. You need to pause more. And you need to listen. If you're talking at your client, when you talk about investment, when you talk about money, you talk about their budget, they're not going to buy from you because they won't trust you. And you'll sound nervous. Now, people say, how do you get your nerves under control, Lawrence? Like, how do you do that? Again, it goes back to confidence. People buy confidence. All right, number 6. Okay, stop being transactional. So you need to think multi-level sales, right? You should do that as a manager, certainly, but as a sales agent talking directly to the customer in the front lines, you also need to think that way. So if you want one sale per client, go and work in retail. Like I mentioned McDonald's before, that's food retail. Go work there. Sell one cheeseburger and pickles to a client and then go and serve another client. Top performers build multi-level value. Multi-level value. Think about that. So sales is not one person, one product, one moment. Like, it's not. But I would say from my experience that 97% of agents operate in that space. Only the 3%, the top performers that I've seen, do not do that. So it should be first sale. Where is my second sale coming from with the same customer? What's my strategy for an upsell? What's my strategy for a cross-sell? What's my strategy for a referral? What's my strategy to build a relationship? And what's my LTV, lifetime value? Your job is to create trust high enough that the customer sees you as their long-term partner. Now, transactional agents survive, sure, don't get me wrong, but relationship agents scale. They are in the top 3% for obvious reasons. So for example, average agents disappear after enrolling a customer. Now, I'm using the term enrolling because we have an education brand, so we sell accredited qualifications to people. Diploma of Business, Diploma of Leadership, Diploma of Human Resource Management, Diploma of Building and Construction, all these types of qualifications nationally across the country, right? So an average agent will, after the enrollment or the sales being closed, they'll just vanish, never to call that customer again. Now, top performers regularly check in on a regular basis with frequency, not because they're told to, because they care. And they know that that relationship is where their future business comes from. So why would you sell to one customer who's great, who already knows you and you've built trust and you never go back to them? Like, it's crazy. Imagine if you did that in car sales. You only ever sold one car to one person and you never sold the second car to them or the third car. Do you even know how many cars they would purchase in their lifetime? So you need to think about it and operate at a different level. So another example could be an average agent doesn't ask for referrals. Like, that's super common. Why? Confidence. They just don't. And I always think the only reason why you wouldn't ask for a referral is because you're not confident on how you've procured the sale with your client. Because if you had invested time with your client, you had done research for your client, you'd advised your client, you'd helped your client, and you developed that really sincere relationship with your client, a referral is organic. And the only reason that you wouldn't ask for one is because you feel the service level that you provided to your client is shit. So you have to think about that. Top performers earn referrals naturally through trust. They never have to ask for it. I know, I used to do that. I used to get sent spreadsheets back in the day, back in the, the 1920s when I was selling stuff to people. I would have spreadsheets sent to me. Some of those spreadsheets would have 20 people in them. Like, I know agents that would take 60 days to close 20 deals. That was sent to me within 1 week of dealing with a specific client. So that's the difference. So if you think of the Pareto principle, 80-20, 80% of your income will come from 20% of your clients. It's about identifying who those clients are. So average agents see the customer as a one-time opportunity. Top performers, on the other hand, see them as a 5-year growth opportunity, like a long-term LTV, lifetime value. Like, what is that? If I sell you a product as a client for $5,000, my LTV should be 35 or thereabouts. So key takeaway. So think in years, not in minutes. Relationships build revenue, right? Not sales strategies or tactics. It's relationships. Honesty, transparency, serve. All right, number 7. Okay, be consistent. So I always think consistency beats talent. Like, this is the secret that separates the good guys from the guys who are great, and also the bad guys. Consistency, one word. It's not talent. It's not personality. It's not being a natural sales agent. I hear people say that, right? Oh, he's really natural at sales. Well, what does that even mean? That doesn't mean anything to me. I think anyone can talk. And there's people who are really good at people. And guess what? Your customer can hear it. You may think you're really natural, but if you don't talk factually and serve your client with sincerity, they can hear it, right? So I think the art right now, in 2025 moving into 26, is to be consistent. Now, I see top performers as consistency. If I look at any sales chart and I go to the top name and I listen to the phone call, and I was just speaking to my sales manager this morning about this, it's not about the call. It's just about the metrics. It's the consistency. Like our top performer, who's great. But what I notice when I look at the data is that he's always got closed calls booked. He's always got appointments booked. He's always got high talk time, and he does it with consistency. And the ones who are on the bottom are very inconsistent. So that's the difference, right? So you got to think about it. What are the metrics and what are the building blocks of successful sales? All right, for a manager, you have to have a lens on this, and for an agent, you have to do this. Okay, so it's calls, conversions, appointment setting, follow-ups, pipeline maintenance, preparation, before the call, daily, weekly, mental discipline, that's really important, closing behavior. So success is not built on intensity, it's built on consistency. For example, if I was to say average agents, right? So they have a good day, right? Average agents have good days and then they have bad days. Top performers have standards. That's the difference. Average agents make calls when they feel like it. Top performers make calls because it's what the day requires. Average agents hope their pipeline will move quickly. Top performers drive that behavior. That's the difference, right? It's always about consistency. So whether you're having a good day or a bad day, the top performer just does not care about that. The top performer knows that if I make X amount of calls, I'm going to book X amount of meetings. X amount of meetings will lead me to X amount of closes. X amount of closes will give me X amount of income. Whether you're feeling good or whether you're feeling bad, it doesn't really matter. So consistency is a great equalizer as well. So do the work every week without excuse. At scale, applying the principle of 80-20. And I don't know what you're earning now and you're watching this, but that algorithm can double, triple, and quadruple your income, and it can do it in a very short period of time. Trust me, I've done it. All right, number 8. So show up. No dabblers allowed. Like, no one likes a dabbler. You know, top performers show up fully, physically, mentally, and professionally. There's no dabbling with the top performer. There's no part-time effort. There's no, oh, I'll do it when I feel like it. There's no, oh, look, I'll try harder. There's no dipping in and out. So if you want to reach real success in sales, you must be all in. And that means showing up. I mean, really showing up. Separate it out, of course. Like if you're going to go hard and show up every day, you may say, I'll do that every quarter. And at the end of every quarter, if I hit my number, I'm going to take a break and I'll take a 4-day weekend. Like you earn that. What low performers do is they have a tough week, they don't meet their numbers and it says, hey, I'm a little bit burnt out, I think I'll take a day off. Like it's a losing attitude and it's a losing mindset. So turning up on time, being prepared, owning your own energy, being responsible for it, being professional, staying accountable, like making the calls, doing the follow-up. Like, if you want to dabble and not make the calls, go and do something else. I hear 7-Eleven down the road is hiring like 3 people. So you should go and do that because you're fooling yourself. Sales is super difficult, or it's not. Well, that's a bit of a joke. It's actually not that difficult. It's a system, right? So, you know, you got to make the calls. You got to do the follow-up. You got to close the loop. Like, if you commit, you'll feel it. If you dabble, you'll also feel it, but it'll pull you down, not push you up. And customers can feel it when you're dabbling. Like they can feel it when you want to get off the call. They can feel it when you're having a bad day, you know. They can feel it when you're not on point, and they can also feel it when you don't give a Like if you think your attitude carries weight, well, you're right. Because if you don't have the right one, your customer will hear it and you'll never make any money. And you may think, oh, look, I'm following the script like my manager told me, but it's just not working. It's their fault. No, it's not. It's your fault. It's because you're not executing well. So you just need to think about that. So your manager feels it, you'll feel it, your customer feels it, and your team will also feel it. All right, so this was that thing about taking critique. Ask people advice. How do you think I'm doing? And really take that on board. It's super powerful. So an average agent, for example, dials in from home, half present, you know, they're kind of in, they're kind of out. You can see they just got out of bed. You know, they haven't prepped their calendar for the day. They don't know how many close calls they've got for the day. They don't know how many calls they need to make. They don't know where their KPI lies. They don't know how much money they're going to earn that week. Like, dude, if I don't know what money is coming in my month, it kind of freaks me out a little bit. Especially when I was in sales. Like, I knew exactly what I would earn in a month before the month commenced because I can see my pipeline. Now, that's a top performing attitude. That's a strategy. But you know, these guys who dial in and girls and they're just, you know, it's just, oh, the leads are no good. What? Well, the leads are no good. Well, what does that mean? I mean, I'm great and your leads are no good. Like, when was that ever a smart thing to say? Because I can guarantee you this is what happens in sales, is that sales goes up and it goes down. And when an agent is normally performing really well, right, say an average agent, like, you know, they think it's them. Oh man, I'm awesome. I'm so good at what I do. And then the market changes and then they have a bad week. And all of a sudden, they're still great, but the leads are terrible. But the leads have just been the same throughout that whole duration. So the mindset needs a shift, right? Because if you think like that, it's not going to help you. It's certainly not going to help your bank balance. And here's the thing. I always just say, in a relationship context, you can't take an old you to a new relationship. So you need to figure out what you need to learn and correct it before you go to the next thing. Otherwise, you just end up in the same space. So an agent leaves a business, they go and work for another company, they do exactly the same thing there and about exactly the same duration. They move on and go to the next company and do exactly the same thing. And this is a behavior that repeats itself. It's because they're dabbling. They haven't considered themselves to be a professional, and they're not showing up. Do you think the intent of your sales manager is to degrade you, put you down, and hopefully you don't make that many sales? Let's not answer that question. So you have to really think about that. Like, it's so critical, and I think some agents don't do that. So a top performer shows up, they're ready to compete. They just are. They always are. An average agent avoids tough conversations. A top performer handles them early and leans into it, right? Another example could be an average agent treats the role like a job. A top performer, on the other hand, treats it like a career. See the difference? So the key takeaway there is no one respects a dabbler. Your teammates don't, your manager doesn't, your colleagues don't, your customer doesn't, your clients don't, your family probably doesn't. All right? Go all in, or don't go at all. All right, so becoming a top performing sales agent isn't about talent, and it's not about motivation. It's about standards. It's about purpose. It's about consistency. And it's about your willingness to be a leader in your job or as a leader, as a manager. If you understand your why, you stay coachable, you limit your learning and get super focused. If you serve your customer deeply, if you control your process, if you think long term and you show up consistently and commit fully, you'll outperform 99% of your colleagues. You'll outperform 99% of the industry. That's how powerful it is. That is the formula. Top performers are not born. It's not in your DNA. There is no top performing DNA sequence. They're built. So thank you for tuning in today. Look, if this episode helped you, share it with someone in sales who wants to level up, who needs some help. And as always, I appreciate your time, your commitment to being the best you, and we'll see you on the next episode. Cheers.